Are you ready to retire and dream of sitting on a beautiful white sandy beach on a tropical island in the Caribbean? But this is something you never thought could be possible while staying in the United States. Or maybe you just don't want to deal with the hassle of getting a visa or trying to get citizenship somewhere else. Living in the United States does give you a few options for this. You can easily pack up your bags and move to the Caribbean with no visa required, totally hassle-free. Any more questions needed? In the U.S. Virgin Islands, there are 3 main islands to choose from, and each has its own personality and reason to live there. St. John is the smallest, with more than half of the island being part of the Virgin Islands National Park. St. John definitely has a more laid-back vibe and is less crowded, with a population of around 3,800 people. You can only get there by ferry from St. Thomas, which takes about 30 minutes. There's also a separate ferry, where you can take your car with you. Trunk Bay is probably the most beautiful beach on the island, but it has limited parking since it's in the national park, making it ideal if you're looking for somewhere not too busy. St. John is also great if you're looking for somewhere a little more wild with lots of hiking trails to explore. St. Croix is the largest island and has a variety of terrain with mountains, forests, and beautiful white sandy beaches. It is 28 miles long and 7 miles wide, with historic towns like Christiansted and Frederiksted, featuring charming colonial architecture and a lively cultural scene. A very diverse island, with real estate available to cater to anyone's needs. From fixer-uppers to condos or gated houses and even parcels of land for sale. St. Croix is also very quiet and has a relaxed pace, more similar to St. John. Then there's St. Thomas, which is the busiest and most densely populated island, with the capital, Charlotte-Amalie, located there. St. Thomas has regular flights from the mainland multiple times per day to many major cities across the U.S. It is also a major cruise port, with most tourists per year starting their trip here. Magan Bay has regularly been voted one of the best beaches in the world for its calm bay, turquoise waters, and beautiful white sand. There are a lot more shopping options than the other 2 islands here as well, like antique shops, local boutiques, art galleries, and many choosing to buy high-end luxury items, and even bargain hunt due to the island being duty-free. Also, there's a lot more to do with many attractions and a busier nightlife, and many great places to eat out. St. Thomas brings in travelers from all over the U.S. and the world. There are also many things to do here in retirement, like sailing, snorkeling, diving, deep-sea fishing, and the island also boasts a world-famous golf course. Virgin Islands food perhaps isn't widely known throughout the rest of the world, but the islands boast a rich and delicious culinary tradition. Fish and fungi is the national dish and a main staple of the islands. It is the epitome of Virgin Islands fare, and its creation dates back to Danish rule, when salt herring and cornmeal were commonly used as a foundation for other dishes. Fungi, pronounced fungi, is a tender, polenta-like dumpling prepared from salted cornmeal, mixed with shortening and water. Scoops of fungi are usually served with generous portions of fish fillets or meat. Although fish and fungi is considered the national dish of the Virgin Islands, one flavorful sea snail is widely embraced too. That would be the conch, and it appears on the menu of nearly every restaurant that serves local cuisine. Fishermen harvest fresh conch, pronounced conch, and people consider conch fritters, which are battered and fried conch balls, an island favorite. This finger food is usually served up and enjoyed with a spicy and creamy ketchup-based sauce or Creole remoulade. Also, Johnny cakes are as popular in the Caribbean as French fries are in the United States. Originating in West Indian culture, these versatile treats can be enjoyed as a snack or included with breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Ubiquitous in the homes and restaurants of the Virgin Islands, these well-loved flour-based and deep-fried treats often accompany traditional cuisines such as BBQ chicken, pot fish, curried dishes, and a number of other island favorites. All the things you would expect with living on an island in the Caribbean are available here. There are many reefs around the islands, making this a great place for scuba diving, snorkeling, spearfishing, surfing, windsurfing, and kite surfing. There's also great access to deep-sea fishing. Lots of hiking trails around the islands, and of course more beaches than you can count to lay down, relax, and soak up the sun. In the capital and smaller towns, there are historic landmarks and museums to learn about the culture and history. And amazing restaurants to try the local cuisine. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. If you are enjoying the video, we'd love to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring retirement destinations and global rankings. hit that bell, and let's keep exploring together. The cost of living in the U.S. has gone up in recent years in big cities, and the Virgin Islands is no exception. Rents range from a cheap one-bedroom apartment in St. Croix at $1,086 per month, to a three-bedroom apartment in the city center in St. Thomas for around $3,000 per month. Looking at St. John, a one-bedroom apartment is around $1,800 per month, or a three-bedroom apartment being around $3,000 per month. An inexpensive meal can range from $10 to $35, or dinner in a nice restaurant for two can range anywhere from $100 to $175. Groceries in the U.S. Virgin Islands can be more expensive as well, since everything on a tropical island must be imported. So, things like a liter of milk can range from $1.32 to $3.98. Or a 12 carton of eggs can range from $5 to $11. Certain things on the island are the same price, with some items being a little more expensive, and other items can cost quite a bit more than on the mainland. But, this is part of island life, and you will find this to be true on most Caribbean islands. Basic utilities on the island range from $250 to $500 per month, and internet can cost from $90 to $200 per month. Now, I'm not telling you all this to scare you away, but you will need to be realistic with what you can afford before deciding if this is somewhere you could call home. Instead of renting, a much better option would be to buy property in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Since it is a U.S. territory, buying a property will basically be the same as buying one in the U.S. This is a great advantage of the islands, since buying properties in other countries can sometimes be difficult. It would basically be the same as buying a property in your home state. Typically, all building materials will be in St. Thomas and transported to wherever else they need to go on the islands, with the average cost of building around $550 per square foot. You will be surprised that buying a property in the U.S. Virgin Islands can be more affordable than you think. On the lower end, you can buy a two-bedroom property in St. Thomas for $185,000, or a three-bedroom property for $275,000, with many of these still having a sea view. Or a two-bedroom condo on St. Croix for $225,000. Now obviously in all of these places, you will find properties in the $1 million range as well, if that's what you are looking for. Usually, they will be in a gated community, even with a private beach. Most properties you find will not be right on the beach, as these areas are typically reserved for businesses and commercial development. In addition to the purchase price, buyers can expect to pay a government transfer tax or stamp tax of 2% to 3.5%, depending on the price of the home. The buyer and seller will usually split this cost equally. Mortgage lenders in the U.S. Virgin Islands offer similar lending options to those in the U.S. mainland, including FHA, Virginia, USDA, and conventional loans. Condominiums are a popular real estate option for their ease of maintenance, especially for retirees or those seeking a vacation home. Property taxes are another big advantage of buying in the U.S. Virgin Islands, which currently imposes a real property tax at 1.25% of the property's assessed value. The property's assessed value is 60% of its actual value or fair market value. Thus, the effective tax rate is 0.0075% of the property's fair market value, which is greatly reduced compared to what you will pay in property taxes on the mainland. For example, a house costing $500,000 will cost you $3,750 per year in property taxes, which comes out to $312.50 per month. The U.S. Virgin Islands also does not have a sales tax or VAT tax, and there are also major tax incentives through the Economic Development Commission Tax Incentive Program to move to the island if you were moving a business there. For most, the requirement for this will be too much, but for a select few, this would be a great option. U.S. citizens will still have access to Medicare and Medicaid on the islands, but it is recommended to get international health insurance, with many people opting to have the ability to be medevac by helicopter or plane back to the U.S. The quality of healthcare is pretty much the same as in the mainland U.S., and there are two very good hospitals: the Governor Juan F. Luis Hospital on St. Croix and the Roy Lester Schneider Hospital on St. Thomas, while a clinic is available on St. John. If you need anything major, typically you will go to St. Thomas, or you might opt to return to the mainland U.S. For the right person or couple, the U.S. Virgin Islands can be the perfect place to retire in the Caribbean. For someone not wanting to renounce their citizenship entirely, And for the many who don't want to complicate their taxes by moving to a different country and still having to report back to the US, not needing a visa to move or even a passport, and also if you chose to work, you won't need to acquire a work permit. You can just step off the plane and start working as fast as you can find a job. Seasonal living on the island is also a great option for many retirees and older couples or even younger financially stable couples as well. Many choose to buy into a timeshare and get great access to Caribbean island life, while not being as tied down as owning your own property outright. So, just something to think about, or this could even be a stepping stone to see if living there could be something that would interest you full-time down the road. Goodbye and see you next time.